Hey everybody, so it is 2019. I want to do some different stuff with this channel, and I want this channel to be successful. And in the process, the first thing I obviously realized is that I need to upload a lot more often. And last year, I had one of my previous computers break, and I did a commentary without editing it. And it was very, very easy to do, and it didn't look that much different from my other videos. So I figured maybe I can do something like that this time and just do a commentary without editing it. And I chose this video to do a commentary on. When I saw this video, I tweeted it and I put Indiscretion City in all capital letters because this shows so many things that we've talked about on the channel, and I can talk about that now. And of course, the original tweet didn't have that much detail in it. Just shouting a single thing in all caps usually doesn't have much detail. But I can provide more detail now. And hopefully this will not give me any problems with fair use because it is commentary, and if I put it in the window and stuff, maybe it won't flag it, but we'll see. If it flags it, we'll do something different. Maybe we'll talk over pictures or moving pictures or things like that, and YouTube will hopefully still share it. So anyway, this clip is about a guy on The Voice, Romania, who sings like Michael Jackson, and the judges go absolutely crazy for him. I mean, they go totally nuts. So I'll show you a little bit of it first.
What about sunrise? What about rain?
Right, and that's all you need to see. The video has tons and tons of views, and everybody reacted really strongly to it. And it lets us illustrate a lot of interesting things. Okay, so first of all, people figured this out in the comments of the video too, that they're not reacting to this singer, nothing personal against him, but they're cheering Michael Jackson. But it's not just that, okay? One of the first things I want to show you is you can see very early on that this is not about the guy's performance. Because as soon as the music starts, look at the judge, listen to what the judge says. Yeah, so you can see she reacts before she even hears the guy sing. So you know right off the bat, this is some emotional associations she has that have nothing to do with this guy's individual performance. Now, he does sing pretty well. He does sound like Michael Jackson, particularly if you close your eyes. But even the reaction that this judges here have to Michael Jackson is not just about how Michael Jackson sung. And that's where you see a lot of mistakes. Because when you go down to the comment section, people will say, man, Michael Jackson's voice was one of a kind, this and this and this. Yes, Michael Jackson was a great singer, but of course there are people who can sing like Michael Jackson, not just like him. They can't hit all the notes and stuff. He was a singer from the time he was a kid, and he was really great at it. But it wasn't just about Michael Jackson's voice, and that's the great thing that we get to talk about here, because you see this reaction from these judges. They're going nuts, particularly this lady who's jumping up and down. And the reason for that is that, like we talk about on the channel, when you take in certain things, particularly performances and movies, and in this case music, I don't want to go into music too much, but in this case I can't resist it because it helps us illustrate things so easily. You're taking in all the emotional things that go on around what you're watching or what you're hearing. And in this particular case, he's triggering all the stuff they have associated with Michael Jackson. And all those things together are so powerful that they make them freak out like this. So let me talk about what some of those things are. First of all, of course, Michael Jackson. I'm not going to talk about Michael Jackson as a person. That would be a video series completely in itself. It took me a long time to figure out stuff that he had been doing for a while. And I still haven't figured out a lot of other things about his personality. But regardless, one thing that Michael Jackson did that was really important and that matters here is Michael Jackson toured the world and did shows in a lot of different places. And he did a show in Romania. He did several shows in Romania. You can watch them on YouTube. And obviously these judges, as people who music was special to them, or they maybe attended those concerts when they were little, had a special reaction to Michael Jackson's concerts. And it's not just that Michael Jackson performed for them and they got to see him live, although that's a special experience. It's the difference between what their life was like in Romania and seeing a performer like that who was so great, who honestly, a lot of performers don't go to a lot of places like that and give great shows. So that was special for them. And that, in terms of the context effect, blew them away in terms of what they were used to seeing. And on top of that, there's also something really, really important, which is the feeling of respect and self-esteem and personal value. That comes in whenever we see somebody who we identify with, or whenever someone shows us a feeling of respect. There's actually studies you can find where they've shown that people get a hit of pleasure when someone else shows them a sign of respect. And that's the same thing that you can see triggered in other ways, like here. Even if it's not necessarily verbal, not if somebody says, "Oh, you're great," or "I like you." If they do something, your brain reacts the same way. You get the same emotion in your body. And that is connected to musical performances and things you see also. So for these judges, when they were young, when Michael Jackson came to perform for them, it was a validation of them. It's showing people in other parts of the world that you're important too, you matter, and I'm here to perform for you and give you my best performance. And a lot of places, particularly in the US, that try to branch out to Europe and other things like that fail because they don't give the audiences there their best stuff. Like, for example, the NFL tried to make NFL Europe to try to spread American football to Europe, and it didn't work because it wasn't, among other things, it wasn't their best product. It was minor league football. And I don't want to get too off topic. I can talk about that on another video. But you want to give people that feeling of respect, that feeling of improving their own lives, finding out that things matter. And I know that also a lot of these countries in Europe were going through changes in their government. And just like David Hasselhoff performing at the Berlin Wall looking for freedom, Michael Jackson being able to come and perform for them at this time was signaling Romania becoming a free country and getting access to the rest of the world. So, on top of seeing this great performer who was so much better than what they had been able to see before, and the feeling of respect, they also associate that with becoming free, a huge change in their own lives. And in terms of something you can watch that involves someone else, that's one of the most powerful feelings you can have. You can actually rank the feelings, and that's why I play around with those triangles I occasionally show in my videos or in other places. I haven't got a chance to make videos about those yet. But in this case, you can see how powerful that is. They associate all those things with seeing Michael Jackson perform. He's a great singer, possibly one of the best singers, great dancer. His music is great. And he made them feel good about themselves. He validated them, and they associate it with a huge change in their own lives. So when this guy comes out and sings like Michael Jackson, first of all, of course, like I said, as soon as the music plays, they have a powerful reaction. But when he comes out and sings like Michael Jackson, he triggers all of those emotions for them. And that's kind of what you might call a peak experience. There was somebody, I think it was Maslow, who said you have a peak experience where all these things come together for you, and it's memorable, you remember it for your whole life, that kind of thing. Well, in these terms, the peak experience represents all these things coming together, and it's all attached to Michael Jackson performing for them. And the way indiscretion works, I call it indiscretion, is that your brain anchors all of it to that song, to that voice. Just like how, not to compare people to dogs, but just like how Pavlov's dog started to anchor the feeling of being hungry and getting ready to eat to his bell. The dog would rate the bell very highly. And in the same way, we rank these performances that we have powerful emotional reactions to very highly as well. And we don't necessarily realize that all these things are attached, all these other things are attached to the performance. And so we have all these special feelings tied up in hearing Michael Jackson sing. And so when this guy comes out here and sings, he triggers all that for them. And they think it's just how special Michael Jackson's voice is. And in this particular case, what makes it more interesting too, is that they think that it makes this guy a great singer. And he's not a bad singer at all. He's a very, very good singer. But that's what pushes somebody who's a good singer to being at the level where they're legendary, when all these other things come together. So you can see, like I said, they're hugging themselves, and it's really a wonderful thing. And people like seeing those magic moments where someone, again, this isn't about the song either. Let's look at this view count, right? This is huge. Now, a lot of this involves the YouTube algorithm, and I'll talk more about that when I do my video on YouTube itself, which will be up pretty soon after maybe a couple videos down the line. People also like seeing somebody's life change in a video, and that's where shows like The Voice come in. It's not just about the performance. It's about seeing whether this person can change their life by being in front of these judges. It's about seeing their own reaction when they find out that the judges like them. In this particular case, they like him so much they ask him to sing again. You can see the smile on his face. See if I can find it. Oh, he's really, really excited. You know, he's probably a young guy. Looks like he has braces on. But that's part of it too. And when you combine that, that makes for a great video as well. And those are the kinds of things that make people want to watch a video over and over and react to that and have that strong reaction and enjoy that. So when I just screamed Indiscretion City, these are a lot of the things I was talking about. All these things come together. And by the way, the people watching the video, if you look through the comments, I'm not going to scroll down to the comments now because I don't want to risk messing up the window where I'm recording this, especially because this is like the first time I've done it this way. But people are saying the same thing. Oh, his voice is so great, blah, 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 blah. And this guy, even if he doesn't get through this show or doesn't win this show, I don't know when this went up. Maybe the show's over now. But even if he didn't win, he's going to be able to get a recording contract. Because of the way Indiscretion works, people are going to think his voice is really, really special because of the number of views that this video has. They're going to subconsciously think, oh, he must be such a great singer that he gets this kind of audience. Even though if you told them, well, it also involves this and this, they'd probably just nod. It doesn't matter. Subconsciously, you link these things together, and you basically can't separate it. I mean, you couldn't tell the difference anyway. If they tried to separate and see, well, who's a great singer apart from that, they couldn't tell. And that's really, really important and matters in so many other things that we're going to continue talking about on the channel. And speaking of YouTube views, we'll see how YouTube handles this. We'll see if I get yelled at because I talked over another video like this. And like I said, if so, I'll do it differently. But in the meantime, like I said, I want this channel to be successful. And I'm going to, it's not enough to know, you have to do. So I'm going to look for more ways that I can upload more frequently. And something that's cool about this is so easy for me to make that if somebody else has another video they want me to talk about or go into, you can just send it to me. And if there's a lot of stuff to talk about, I could probably do a video on that too. So we'll do that. I'm also going to work on part 2 of How to Get Famous. And I get to talk about some really cool stuff on the second part of that one. So I'm going to get to work on that one too. And we'll see about putting this one up and seeing what you guys think about it. Oh, and also, I hope this isn't repetitive because I am talking about stuff we've talked about already. But at least I'm applying it to stuff that's happening in the real world and seeing how that works and showing how it works in the real world. And that seems to be good for a lot of channels that focus on ideas. Not necessarily having to always exhaustingly plow forward and constantly show something new. And maybe I shouldn't do that. And maybe I should spend more time focusing on some of the stuff we've talked about and showing how it works, especially if people are interested in it and I can use it to make more and faster content. So if you like this, let me know. And we'll probably try to do more of these in one way or another. And thanks for listening. Bye.